All right, welcome back. We are seeing a slight bounce in price today, but the bad news just keeps pouring in. Now the oil market is dumping. There's an oil war with Russia and Saudi Arabia. The stock market still crashing. Dow Jones is down. This pandemic is just getting worse and worse. Where does it end? All right, so today we'll break down the charts, try to see if we can find any relief. I do have a great story I just saw. We need to see more of these. It's encouraging the use of digital payments. So we'll get into all of that. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, this is not financial advice. These are my own ideas and opinions on the market. Do your own research, trade at your own risk. Hit the like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications. Let's keep it rolling. All right, let's look at it. And we are red again today. Last 24 hours, 4.5% down. The volume is just picking up to 2 billion. This is even larger than yesterday. And this is all sell volume. It's definitely getting bad. Markets globally looking bad. You just see red across the board. Tether up just a tiny bit. People are moving their money into Tether, so you see it rise. Okay, so the crypto fear and greed index down to a 17. This is the lowest we've seen in a long time. Extreme fear. Is this a time to be greedy? When those are fearful, time to be greedy. Definitely, something to keep in mind. However, I would like to see the fear slow down. The fear seems to be picking up, okay? When the fear, slows down and we start to see maybe a vaccine, or we start to see the numbers of the coronavirus decreasing, maybe that's a good time to enter. But right now, it just seems to be picking up. But we are currently bouncing, so we'll take a look at that. At the end of the day, just got to read the charts, follow the charts. But, the fundamentals of this global panic and fear, you have to keep in mind. It is very bearish. Stocks are dropping, oil is dropping, Bitcoin is dropping. Risk on asset, it is not proving to be a safe haven. Not yet, and I'll get to there. There might be a possibility, okay? So the block halving, 67 days away, getting closer and closer. Yesterday I talked about just briefly the plus token scammers. Well, here's a little article to sum it up a little better for you guys. They're talking about this plus token people dropped or dumped about 13,000 Bitcoin. That's about $118 million. They may be responsible for this drop. They were responsible for the sell-off in the last year from 14K down, and they're just dumping more here. So this combined with the fear in the world, it's just a perfect storm, but not so perfect for price. Okay, and then you have the good news. This is one story I think this could be encouraging. The World Health Organization encourages use of contactless payments due to COVID-19. So basically, cash is probably infected worldwide. Just think about all the hands that touch cash and physical coins, and you're just moving it around the world. So you have South Korea talking about quarantining their cash, talking about burning the cash, talking about encouraging using digital payments. So this, article, if you want to read it, it's on Forbes. It's basically saying that, these central banks that are talking about implementing a digital currency, they might have to speed this process up because they don't want the spread of the virus. It would be better to use digital currency. And also, Bitcoin and other types of cryptocurrency will be better for payments. If you don't have cash, you have Bitcoin. This would be a use case for Bitcoin. So yes, right now Bitcoin is dropping with the risk on assets. It is not being seen as a safe haven. However, if this global crisis just gets out of control and real panic starts, people don't trust the banks, stuff like that, don't trust the governments, you might see the price dropping, but maybe it gets so bad that people do look for an alternative like Bitcoin. Possible. Or maybe we just push in the digital direction because no one wants to touch dirty cash. Okay, so we'll see if we get more stories like this. This is good to see a little bit of hopium, okay? So moving over to the chart, you can see that I have outlined a support box basically from 75.50 to 77.50 using, you know, the top of these candles here and the top of the candle here. You can see there is price action, lots of resistance in this box. So we talk a lot about resistance, flip support, and you can see we even, once we broke it here, we did bounce off of it to continue higher. So, you know, this would be a likely area, you know, to find a potential support. I don't know how long it will hold as support, but, you know, nothing moves straight up. You can see nothing moves straight up, nothing moves straight down. So we will see relief rallies on the way. So this could be one, but you know, things are still bearish. And as long as the markets are dumping, I'm still bearish. I'm still, you know, have a bearish bias, potential more downside to come and looking for opportunities to short. However, if I do short, I'm going to use risk management. You know, still treat each trade like a trade. Okay. And that being said, yesterday I was talking about how I missed the weekend price action. Well, last night I jumped in and I caught myself a nice short. Screenshotted this. This was last night for all my members. You know, I felt more comfortable protecting my capital instead of trying to call a bounce when the momentum is just down and down. I don't want to catch falling knives. So I had a stop loss. You know, I used minimal risk per trade here. And then I updated my members in real time, moving my stops into profit, moving, you know, to break even, you know, one step along the way. End of the day, I closed out. You had, you know, 50% 79.17, 25% 78.20, and 25% 77.10. And I stacked more BTC. Yes, the USD value has been decreasing, but my BTC portfolio has been increasing. I am now at my highest point this year. So I'm doing well as far as trading goes. I can't be too panicked here. You know, what if price just starts booming back up? Well, I collected more Bitcoin down here. If the price keeps going down, I'll trade and collect more while it's down here. Okay, so if you're interested in shorting, because I know I got interested in shorting back in 2018 when I just saw the price just, you know, it'd go up and then it'd fall. I mean, we could look at it real quick. You know, you'd have little moments of hope. You know, we'd rise and then dump. We'd rise and dump. So, you know, I was like, all right, I'm tired of watching this dump. I want to learn how to short. And, you know, I've been through it all of this. Lots of trial and error, but you learn from your mistakes. You get better and better. You learn how to be more responsible with your money, and practice safe trading, stop loss. I preach. And, you know, now I love to short. Now I only pretty much trade on margin. So if you're interested in learning, the information is down below. You can contact me on Twitter. You could also contact me if you're already on Discord. Here's my Discord. You can contact me there. And yeah, exclusive videos, exclusive charts, tutorials, my signals, you name it. So let's keep it moving. We found the bounce here. We're also looking at a trend line rising from the bottom. We've been covering this and looking at the current trend line without moving it, without adjusting it. Let's zoom in, see where we are. Okay, so we did, you know, we were closing beneath and now we're rising. This could potentially act as resistance. We've broken through. Now we're going to retest it, see if it acts as resistance. Okay, and another thing, while we're on the 1 hour chart, when price is moving this fast, you know, that would be an exception of when I might want to look a lot closer. And you can see we finally, this is the first change we've had this whole way down. We were being governed by the blue 10 simple on the 1 hour. You did almost get a breakout here, but there wasn't any momentum and it dropped. And you had no more closes above until now. We finally got a 1 hour close above and looking to be testing the yellow 21 EMAs at 79.27, current price 78.72. I'm not trying to be a hero and try to catch every little bottom. I'm not going to try and long this. You know, when we were trending upwards, it was safe to long, okay? Remember, everyone that was trying to call the tops, trying to be smart and short, ended up getting stopped out here, here, here. So in an uptrend, it is way safer to take a long. Look for longs, okay? Maybe you missed the move. Well, wait for the retrace and buy the retracement, okay? Well, opposite in a downtrend. In a downtrend, it is safer to short. You don't want to be calling bottoms. So if you drop hard, say you missed a move, wait for it to bounce, watch for it to, get tired and look for another reversal, and then you short. You missed this move, wait for the bounce, short. So now, I already caught a nice move in here. Now I'm looking to find where I can short another bounce. So that's what worked here, going up. Trend is your friend. Well, the trend is your friend this way too. Okay, so I did say there was a little change in trend on the 1 hour, but that's a very small time frame. Let's look at the weekly, break it down. Okay, hit the like, comment, subscribe if you like these videos. All right, this is a trader's market right now, and if you're looking at the charts like me, we are not just praying for the moon. We are looking at this with a realistic mindset, looking at both the up and downside targets, always using a stop loss, mitigating risk. Okay, so we did close the weekly under the 50 EMA. That's at 82.36. That could be a resistance. If we do get a little bounce, you're going to see resistance around 82.36, 50 EMA. If we continue downwards, you have support, the 100 EMA at 74.20. So we might even fill out a little range. You see how we are between the 50 EMA and the 100 EMA going sideways here. We could do something similar, finding support along this region. However, if this breaks, your next target is the 200 EMA on the weekly at 5,900, slowly creeping up. By the time we finally break this level, this could be back to the 6K. 6K is important because it held up 2018 the entire way. If we break 6K, this is not looking pretty. Let's put on our drawing tools, okay? So you can see this would be 6K region here. We do have a trend line coming from down here. You have touch. If we do break beneath here, you have a target there. You break 6K, we're looking at this rising trend line. This vertical right here is going to be the halving event. Okay, so do we fall and find support, and then after the halving get a rise? That's what we're potentially looking at. But currently trading beneath this rising trend line is not good. And then if you lose this support box, that is also not good. Why? Well, close out the drawing tools. You can see currently, if we do find support here, we're still looking at a low and a higher low. And here you have a high. You had a high here, but a higher high. So if you're just not looking here, just looking this guy, so there was a high and a low. Higher high, possibly higher low, okay? You can see that, I hope, all right? So we need to hold this. If you drop down here back to the low 7K, 6.8, you now no longer have that higher low, and you're looking at just a horizontal support there. This horizontal support, you can see it right here, okay? What also this is going to look like, okay? So let me take away, no, I'll leave them. I think you guys can see it. But basically, we had a descending triangle here. What we don't want to see is us form a descending triangle here. That would basically look like, a support level here, which you can already see. I'll just draw it out a little further. And then you would have like a... something like that. Hold on. Something like this. Okay, so you had the touches, this top, and you had a downward trend. What I don't want to see is us start bouncing around in here, form another descending triangle. Because if we do, well, we remember what happened here. We had a sell-off. These descending triangles, especially on a macro, definitely usually are bearish. Okay, and here's the other issue right now too. We're still putting in lower highs on the macro. Yes, this high is above this high, but if you zoom out, you have a high, lower high, lower high. And if you continue farther down, you're looking at lower lows on this right here, okay? We need to hold support, but we are experiencing a black swan event. So we weren't expecting this. This black swan event, depending on the severity, could send us to levels that we were not expecting. However, if we find relief and everything is solved and the world is back to normal, we could just explode up. Maybe this is sometime after the halving. But just be aware that there is potential for much further downside, and this is bearish. Okay? So I got, my main thesis out of the way. Let's just look at the indicators and see if anything pops up. All right? So we looked at our drawing tools. We looked at the moving averages, our Bollinger Bands. We are beneath the middle BB. This is also bearish. Your support is going to be down at 64.16. If we remain in the bearish zone on the Bollinger Bands, your 6K, 64, 68, this becomes more of a potential reality. Okay. You also have the stochastics crossing down from the top. You have a lower high on the RSI. Okay. If you lose this horizontal support on the RSI, right here, okay, you can see we had one here. If you draw this going all the way back, okay, you had pretty much in this region right here. We'll move it down just a little bit, okay, so pretty much this region here. If you lose this on the RSI, you're going to start going into oversold bearish territory. This type of action, so you have a bounce, come up, and this is a lower high than this one as well, and you find a relief rally. So you have a sell-off, relief rally, and then you could come back down here. If this gets tested and breaks coming down here, you just have another lower high on the RSI. You start coming down here, this is where we're talking about our 6K and possibly lower. So we don't want to lose this right now. We need to find a bounce here. But the markets are crashing, adding so much extra pressure, okay? Here's the thing. People want to discount this and talk about how then, the flu virus, kills X amount of people every day. But this is just spreading. The fear is growing. And the reality is people are scared. People are not traveling. They are not getting on cruise ships. They are not, taking vacations right now. People are afraid to go to restaurants. People are stocking up on toilet paper, staying at home. This is going to hurt the economy in so many different ways. There will be repercussions until this can turn around. Okay? So, I'm not bearish because I don't like Bitcoin. I am bearish because of everything that is happening in the world at the moment. Okay? So I hope I made my point clear. Let's look. I'll skip the Ichimokus. I'm already talking for 18 minutes. Okay, we'll just keep it going. Go down to the daily. On the daily, let's see our moving averages. Moving averages, you're beneath all of them. Okay, yesterday we came back and retested the 377 and was rejected at 81.76. If we are able to find a bounce, you're going to have resistance here. At 81.76, your 200 EMA is coming in at 8,600. Your 21 EMA just crossed bearish beneath the 50 EMA. This is not, necessarily a death cross, but is definitely a bearish cross to have your lower time frames crossing beneath your higher time frames. So the 21 crossed beneath the 50. Where's so this is the 200 EMA at 8,600. Your orange 50 EMA on the daily is at 89.99. If price continues down here and the 50 EMA starts coming down this way, you could potentially get a death cross on the daily 50 EMA crossing beneath the 200 EMA. And this would be on a downward slope, both coming down. So technically, it's the 50 and the 200. The other ones aren't death or golden, okay? And then to be even more technical, a golden cross, you want to see both the 50 and the 200 rising as they cross. And then a real death cross, you want to see the slopes on both of them declining when they cross. If this plays out, that will be the real definition, okay? This is not a good sign, okay? Your 10 simple starting to close beneath all of the moving averages here, adding more pressure. So the farther this one starts coming down, this could add pressure, okay? So if we bounce, maybe we bounce in this region, but I am not expecting us to do a full retrace to close out the CME gap. This is a runaway gap. This is not just, some shenanigans over the weekend. This is something larger at hand. I don't think we're just going to fill it like we do all of the others. I think this will take some time to fill. You can see the much larger CME gaps we've had in the past. This was pretty nasty. Maybe we get something like this. We had a nice big gap here, and like 1, 2, 3, 4 days later, just dumped, filled it, and then kept going. So could we, in a couple days, just get a short squeeze up to fill it and then continue dumping? Always a possibility. Keep that on your radar. But you see, this one took a long time to fill here. Okay, so usually, these big ones can take some more time to fill. So that's all I'm saying, that we might go sideways in this region, and maybe down the road we can fill it. But I'm not looking to call the bounce here, we're filling the gap. No, that's not going to be my strategy right now. Okay, so I got that cleared up too. Okay, Bollinger Bands, we are currently on the outside of the band. We closed the last candle beneath the lower BB. Let's see if this one closes beneath or above it. If it closes beneath it, that could be a signal for more dumping, because when it's closing on the outside, it's very bearish. On the outside of the upper band, it's very bullish sometimes. Okay. And your daily Stokes did cross down right here. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. Your no bullish divergence on the daily yet, and we haven't hit oversold, so there's still room to come down possibly here as well. Moving on to the 12-hour. On the 12-hour, our 12-hour beneath the Bollinger Bands as well. Your Stokes are still coming down. I don't see any bullish divergence on the RSI, but you are oversold on the 12-hour. If we can start to see this curling up, maybe that'll be a better sign of a bounce coming, okay, if you want to look on a little bit of a larger time frame. Let's look at our moving averages real quick on the 12-hour. On the 12-hour, just well beneath all of them, you're going to have resistance, this pink 200 simple at 8,400. So we could potentially get a bounce, get rejected around 8,400. Not only do you have this 12-hour 200 simple at 8,400, but, anywhere 84 to 85, 50, anywhere in this region, you're going to be having resistance here, because you have this support. This was support. We had this support here. Let me get rid of the moving averages, make this a little cleaner. You can see how it was resistance, flip support here. You had resistance, support, and then again resistance, support. So this was support, temporary support, and that was at 8,500, 8,515. So if we are able to get a bounce, you could get all the way up here to the top here, the bottom here. So it'd be a nice support, flipped resistance, and then probably continue downwards. Could we just keep going? Maybe. But more likely, we're going to get rejected at either, right here, underneath this rising trend line we showed at the top of the video. If we're super weak, we won't even get above it. But if we're able to get above it, I'm looking at this horizontal resistance around 8,200s and then 8,500s. Okay, so one level at a time. And if we break this support box in this region, I'm looking back down here around 6,900, 7,000. Okay, just a complete retracement of this entire rally. But let's see if this holds. Keep it moving. Let's go to the 4-hour. On the 4-hour, you can see that a little bit more closely. And let's look at our Stokes. The Stokes have been just low for a while. If you finally get a bounce, you're going to see this hopefully rise and this get out of the oversold territory on the 4-hour. And your Bollinger Bands finally back into the zone. We were closing beneath the lower bands. Now we're back in the zone, and your resistance, level is way up here, coming at 85.37. So, that 8,500 region, if we do get a bounce, we'll just have to see the magnitude of the bounce. If we get a big bounce real fast right here, right now, yeah, I'm thinking like 8,500 would be a good area to potentially short. Now, if it's slow and it's going like that, this is going to start coming down and add extra resistance down the road, okay? And then finally, our moving averages. Your we're well separated from the blue 10 simple, so this resistance would come in around 8,073, yellow 21 EMA 8372. So you want to keep your eye on that. I have been looking at the 1 hour. The 1 hour finally did close back above the blue 10 simple, and your stochastic is rising, but if we'll see how much further it rises. Okay, guys, your yellow 21 EMA on the 1 hour acting as resistance. Break that. You could go back to 8,200 where the 50 EMA is. All right, so I think that's enough for us today. The Bitcoin dominance chart, let's see, that's CMEs. If I look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, I can see that with the sell-off, the dominance is rising, which means the altcoins are dumping harder than Bitcoin. So if we think that Bitcoin is going to continue to dump further, or at least we are worried that it might, then it is not safe to be in altcoins as the dominance is rising, because that means that the altcoins are being hurt even harder. So I am not interested in altcoins at the moment. Be safe if you are. Okay, guys, hit the like if you enjoy these videos, if this adds value to your trading. If you want to learn more about trading, especially on margin, contact me below. I have the information in the About Me section or description. These are going to be rough times. We weren't expecting these, but if you're not worried about the USD value at the moment and you just want to stack more Bitcoin, learning how to trade on margin is a great way. It's more simpler. You just look at Bitcoin chart and the Bitcoin chart only. Okay, if you trade altcoins, it gets a little more complicated, looking at its relationship between altcoins and Bitcoin and just all sorts of other factors that are involved. So life's much easier on margin as well. Interested? Hit me up. Otherwise, I'm keep putting out this content for you guys on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoRolly. Keep posting charts there as well. And also, just one note, you can watch the stock market, look at the stock market a little closer. Since we are correlated, we can see that the stock market also dumped. We opened up today, new lows as far as this trend goes. We had a little bit of a bounce on the stock market and then got rejected. So could the same happen? It's not a bad idea to keep your eye on the stock market since it is moving in correlation at the moment. That's it for me, guys. This has been Crypto Rolly. Keep it rolling. We'll see you next time.